Hey, I'm Jason Bass. I am co-founder of the Night Brunch, founder of Kiss Tomorrow Hello, and currently I am the Director of Culture and Impact here at Hotel Revival in Mount Vernon. So I was inspired to start Kiss Tomorrow Hello because I found myself like in conversations where a business would ask, could I help them with different things within their daily operation or how they marketed their business, right? They wanted to bring in a different customer. They wanted to program it in a way where it would, attract like their target demographic. So I was kind of doing that, for free or handing it off to another person because I just didn't have the framework put together for myself in order to really capture that business. So instead of giving that away, right, and passing it on to someone else, I decided to create some context and develop an organization that focused on it. So how I got involved with Hotel Revival is at the beginning of this year. That's when I started Kiss Tomorrow Hello. January 1st was supposed to be the kickoff. 2020 was going to be the greatest year ever. And I had just signed a few clients that I was really excited about, Hotel Revival being one of them. And originally I was only supposed to have a few hours a week as a consultant with them, helping them to program some of the spaces and connect them with the community a little bit better. But then when the pandemic hit, all the other clients kind of fell off. The only one that was in operation was the hotel. And then I went from 10 hours a week to 50, 60 hours a week here, and really working with them, with the amazing staff here to provide services and supplies to the community as the pandemic first hit, right? So I had relationships with food vendors through the Night Brunch. I knew how to organize people quickly because of that, and I knew how to create the copy and messaging, which was one of my expertise through Kiss Tomorrow Hello. So with the hotel already established in this space and allowing itself to be kind of like a hub, we were able to quickly get the message out that we had food available. We would give out fresh produce. We had a surplus of toilet paper, because nobody was staying at the hotel at that time. So we were able to give that out when people needed it the most. And because of that, because we pivoted so quickly and it was going so well, eventually they asked me if I wanted to come on full time, and we created the position as a director of culture and impact. If anybody knows me, they know I like a good social event. I like to bring people together, party, whatever it is. So it was really tough, and I had to mourn that period of being able to socialize in person, even if it was grabbing a drink at the bar, we couldn't do that anymore, right? So, we had to do something, right? We had to figure out what was going to be the next step in creating experiences that wouldn't put people in danger because of the pandemic. So I quickly learned how to work a broadcasting software. I bought equipment for it, called a couple of friends who were knowledgeable in that space, and they kind of walked me through that whole thing, so it lessened the learning curve. And then with all of these beautiful areas in the hotel, like the garden room where we are now, we were able to bring people in one at a time, like a yoga instructor or someone who does meditation, or even a DJ, to a space like this by themselves, and create a virtual experience that we can broadcast through our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, whatever made sense. So the idea of that was to potentially provide some entertainment that would get people's mind off of current conditions, make them deal with any kind of wellness aspects of their life that weren't being met because they couldn't leave the house, and really just show off the space. We'll be here when times are different. So this is what you got to look forward to when we're out of the pandemic. What's next? We're having a lot of fun here at the hotel now, exploring some different kind of activities, be it hybrid, a mix between virtual and physical events, where we can work with local partners to to create some really unique experiences. But also what's most important is for the hotel to really dive into, and this is also important to me, for us to dive into like two key areas within the Baltimore community: entrepreneurship and then early childhood development, right? So the challenge there is like, if there's a small business that we could potentially support at the hotel that's in line with some of the products and services that we need here, how do I create that relationship? How do I establish that? How do I vet them to make sure that they can actually meet the demand, or they're scalable? And then if they check all the boxes, then we can kind of roll them up into the hotel. And what I mean by that is, if we find like a local toilet paper company, right? And the hotel needs toilet paper, we're going to use that same theme. Why are we buying it from this vendor when we can buy it from a local vendor, support them, and then give them whatever resources or knowledge they might need to be able to satisfy our orders? I tell you what, it was not the plan for me to be an entrepreneur. Like, I've applied for all the dream jobs that I thought, I wanted, and I wasn't getting hired. So I just thought, I believe in myself enough that I'm gonna put this out there, but I'm gonna have to do it, by myself. They wouldn't give me a seat at the table, so I have to create my own seat. In some cases, also create my own table. And I think that's just the core of like a real true like entrepreneur, right? Like, if you're not gonna give it to me, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna create that for you, right? And whatever it takes, I'm gonna risk it within a certain level, because I couldn't just be someone who wasn't pursuing their passion, or wasn't making the amount of money that I wanted to make, or doing the things I wanted to do with myself every day. Like, I just needed more. So that's why I had to start that entrepreneurial journey. Yeah, it's not what Instagram says it is, with all these pictures of just driving around, flying around on jets and driving like, Maybachs. It's a curvy, windy, hilly road. It's not a straight shot. Some things are going to be great, and in other aspects they're going to be bad. But you have to learn how to balance that out. And I recommend that people start with the basics, right? Like, sometimes we just, with that same kind of image of what an entrepreneur looks like in our minds, like, we sometimes like overshoot what that looks like, and we think we're operating our businesses the best way, but we forget about the small things. We forget about like soft skills like customer service, or how to treat your customers, or how to even listen to your customers, and really like provide the best service or product that we can. So, I recommend going slow, focusing on those small things, and don't give up. I am a passionate dude about a lot of things. So I'm inspired by the fact that I have a son, and I want to like create a legacy for him. I also want to show my community that someone who looks like me can be in these spaces that I am now. Tattoos, beard, black, Baltimore, all the things that usually kind of hold people back. I want to be able to celebrate those things and show that, if you make some of the right decisions, you can create a path that's similar. It's not going to be mine, it's not going to be exactly like mine, but it's going to be something else that'll inspire the next person to go on that journey too. So, hopefully I do it for my son, I do it for my community, and it's all worth it for me. A day in my life is not as organized as I would want it to be. I do really have to rely on different apps to keep me organized. So I need a calendar, and I use like most of the Google apps, that whole ecosystem, to keep me together. So I use the Google Calendar, I use Google Keep for my notes and my checklist. I wake up in the morning and I do a to-do list. I generally wake up around 5:30 a.m. every morning. I'm not gonna say I jump out of bed and cartwheel out and I'm straight into action, but it gives me enough time to put my mind in a space that it needs to be for the day, collect my thoughts, read about or view on YouTube, what's going on in the world, make my to-do list, get my coffee, and then I'm at whatever's, the first thing on my list. So it could be a real mix. Now that I'm full time at the hotel, like that's my biggest priority. And then I leave room within the day to work on stuff for Kiss Tomorrow Hello and the Night Brunch. So with that being said, like I'm really excited to show people what the next iteration of the Night Brunch will look like. It will involve some events, but it's definitely gonna have some new exciting like content for the fans. And then for Tomorrow Hello, it's just, you know, what makes sense for us to provide to that customer base, you know, from a B2B perspective, that we couldn't do before. So I'm exploring some options on that, and it's just a day of always being on, you know, which isn't a bad thing if it doesn't feel like work. So, you know, I think like some of as I've been doing like community work here at the hotel and, you know, within the city, like it's been brought to my attention that we have a huge entrepreneurship like community in Baltimore, but I don't think it's always reflected in some of the spaces that are in the city. Like, you know, we're over 60%, you know, Black in Baltimore, but we don't have that many restaurants in the city, right? We don't have many venues that cater to that customer base. So, you know, it makes me wonder, like, where are these businesses? And from what I found is like, it's just, you know, first of all, these businesses have been started because people can't find jobs, so they start these businesses in reaction to that. But then they also can't get capital or the guidance that they need to fully develop those ideas or those ventures. So, you know, I just, you know, I recommend to people who are out here and are successful with their business to do whatever they can to mentor, to help, you know, the people around them, so that next man or woman can realize their idea and be an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur. And then also, like, I challenge some of the organizations in Baltimore to start to invest in their people a lot more, right? Or open their doors a lot more. Don't be a gatekeeper, be a gate opener. You know, give the resources to the people that they need, and instead of believing that they don't exist at all. You know, we just saw the CEO of Wells Fargo say that the reason they aren't hiring in a more diverse way is because they can't find, you know, the talent in the market. But that's just because you don't know where to look for them. You know, it's not that that talent doesn't exist. I mean, that's what you're saying with that statement, and I think that's what we see sometimes in Baltimore too, because they're using the wrong lens. But they have to figure out how to get to the people that are talented, that deserve to be there, and give them that space and opportunity to do it. Thank you for tuning in to Black Business Fridays. I really love what Downtown Partnership is doing, and I look forward to what comes next.